Alright, what's up everybody, back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today we're talking about the playoff games that happened yesterday, April 18th, including the Hawks and Celtics game 2, Cavs and Knicks game 2, and the Clippers Suns game 2. Some solid games yesterday. Playoff time, we're going to keep it going. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do the content, consider subscribing, like, turn on notifications, do all stuff like that. I really appreciate it, really upset a lot. And yeah, man, April playoff time, but keep it moving. All right, and yeah, don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So the first game we had was Hawks Celtics game 2, and the Hawks got off to a good start. They were up, I think, like 19-11 at one point, a little bit more. They're hitting shots. DeAndre Hunter looked solid. Trey was getting to the rim. The Celtics just looked a little sloppy. Weren't hitting threes. Weren't really trying that much on defense. The Hawks were getting stops and playing out in transition and running. But then near the end of the first quarter, Malcolm Brogdon came in and provided a spark, hit a half-court shot at the end of the quarter, and the Celtics started to play. And as the game got on, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Derek White, they really started to come in and play. And the Hawks, their three-point shot wasn't hitting as much as it was early to start the game. And the Hawks down by a lot at halftime. We go to the second half, and the Hawks are trying to make it a game. The Hawks keep trying to make it a game. The Celtics got really sloppy, especially near the end of the third, early fourth. The Celtics got a little sloppy in there, and DeJounte Murray got involved. DeJounte Murray actually had a pretty good game. Trae Young was trying, but he really couldn't get to the free throw line a lot, and Bogdanovich provided some energy. But the Hawks' wings, outside of the guards, the Hawks' wings just couldn't really do much on either end. And yeah, Jason Tatum, Derek White has been huge so far the first two games. They really got it going. Malcolm Brogdon showed up a lot in this game. The Hawks were trying to come back, but they just couldn't. They couldn't get the shots. You know, they couldn't capitalize on the opportunities. Celtics were giving them opportunities, man. Celtics were missing a lot of legs, kind of getting a little sloppy for a lot of this game. But the Hawks just couldn't factor and couldn't take those opportunities and make anything work with them. Celtics ultimately ended up winning 119-106. Celtics ended up shooting 56% from the field, 15 threes. The Hawks actually outshot the Celtics. They hit 16 threes in this game. But they couldn't get to the line. They only attempted 8 free throws. The Hawks did. And 6 of them were Trae Young. And the other 2 were Clint Capella, who missed both those free throws. The turnovers were pretty close. The Hawks had 18 turnovers. Celtics had 14 turnovers. The Celtics assisted. The Hawks rebounding. The Hawks were on the offensive glass. They out-rebounded the Celtics on the offensive rebounds 19-5 in this game. But the Celtics also had 12 blocks, and the Hawks just couldn't capitalize on the opportunities, man. Tatum finished with 29, 10, and 6. 12 of 22, hit 5 threes. He played really well in this game. Derek White, another big game, 26, 7, and 2, had 3 blocks. He's just been amazing attacking Trae Young. They're trying to hide Trae Young and Derek White, but Derek White just is involved, man, and keeps going. He's been amazing. Jaylen Brown had 18 points. He kind of injured his hand a little bit near the end of the game. Went for a block on DeJounte Murray, blocked it, but also I think he hit his finger or his hand on the backboard, and he's already had some hand problems. Marcus Smart, 14, 5, and 6, and Malcolm Brogdon came in, put in 13, 7, and 8 off the bench. Yeah, the Celtics just are too much for the Hawks, really. The Hawks just don't have the personnel to match up with the Celtics on either end. DeJounte had a good game for the Hawks, 29, 6, and 6 with 4 steals, hit 7 threes. Trae had 24, 6 assists. He shot 9 for 22. Had a lot of turnovers as well. He had 6 assists and 5 turnovers, which isn't great. Bogdanovich had 18. DeAndre Hunter had 18 and 12, even though he did not shoot well from the field. Shot 8 for 19. It was 2 for 9 from 3. But then after that, they just didn't have help for anybody. Capella had 4 points, 7 rebounds. John Collins, man, I don't know what he has done nothing so far. I feel like in this series, 5 points, 6 rebounds, shot 2 for 11 and 1 for 7 from 3. He's just hasn't done anything. Sadiq Bey literally ran around for 15 minutes. In 15 minutes, Sadiq Bey grabbed a rebound and had a foul. He missed all of his shots. He didn't even get a steal or a block or anything. And then Jalen Johnson played 5 minutes, grabbed 3 rebounds, and had a turnover, missed a shot. It's just the Hawks just don't have any production from anyone outside of Trae, DeJounte, and Bogdanovich. Outside of those 3, no one else has really done anything in this series. And if they don't at least try to do something, this is probably going to be a sweep. I mean, Atlanta just, again, doesn't have enough for this Boston team. This Boston has too much length on defense and too many defenders. They can go out, and then now they have Derek White playing the way he is, Malcolm Brogdon playing the way he is. They have those 2 playing like that. I mean, they're going to be a very hard team to stop. Yeah, Boston's up 2-0, going back to Atlanta, and hopefully they're not coming back unless they're coming back home to play Philly. Next game we had the Knicks and Cavs. The Knicks are up 1-0. Cavs, a big game for them. They needed this one. Josh Hart, late time decision to play in this game. And the Cavs came out and played really well. Darius Garland got off to a really good start in this game, but the Knicks, again, got off to a good start. Julius Randle was hitting shots. So was Jalen Brunson. And then the second quarter, the Cavaliers' Darius Garland was mixing up the Knicks. The Cavs' defense got involved as well. Evan Mobley started to wake up. Karis LeVert was huge in this game. And yeah, the Cavs' defense just started to turn up. And the Knicks couldn't really hit shots. Both Jalen Brunson was missing. Julius Randle was missing. The role players weren't really doing much. Weren't hitting threes. It was a WWE match out there. Everyone was falling on the floor. Everyone was getting hit in the face. Very tough. And yeah, Darius Garland just was turning it up. And Donovan Mitchell didn't really have to do much. He was more of playmaking and playing defense. But yeah, the Cavs outscored the Knicks 34-17 in the second quarter. And then it just continued throughout the entire game. The Cavs ended up winning 107-90. Cavs forced the Knicks to shoot 37% from the field to 24% from three. The Knicks only scored 90 points in this game. Both teams had the same amount of turnovers. They both had 17, but the Cavs were really capitalizing off turnovers. Cavs had 10 more assists, and they won the rebounding battle as well. Darius Garland had an amazing game, 32 points, 7 assists. He was being aggressive. He said after the game, everyone in the building was telling me to be aggressive, so that's what he went out and did. And he was huge in this game. Karis LeVert as well. Karis LeVert bringing a lot off the bench. He put up 24 points, hit 4 threes, something the Cavs really need because Isaiah Okoro only played the first 3 minutes of the game before picking up 2 fouls and didn't see the court for the rest of the day. Which is really tough, and I honestly won't be surprised if you don't really see Isaiah Okoro throughout the rest of the series. Maybe he becomes like his start the game, but maybe, I don't know. But also depends on the wings, because Karis LeVert, again, we know he's kind of inconsistent, so he'll have 24 this game, but then he'll come out next game and probably have like 4 points. So that also depends on the wings and how they're doing. But if Karis LeVert is going to play similar to this, I'm not saying he has to put up 24 every game, but if he plays similar and just bringing energy and being effective at hitting shots, but don't be surprised if you don't see Isaiah Okoro a lot in this series because on offense, he hasn't really done much for the first 2 games in the regular season. Near the end of the year and halfway through the year and on, he was a 40% three-point shooter. He was doing very well, taking strides. But the first game, he didn't make a three-pointer. This game, he didn't really get a chance to make one, but he wasn't really doing much on the offensive end. And then if he's fouling on defense, then it's like, what is he really out there doing? Nothing. So really tough to see, but gotta go with what works. And Karis LeVert was working, So yeah, you also saw some Danny Green minutes. In 20 minutes, he hit a shot. He was guarding Julius Randle a lot, which I don't know why Julius Randle didn't see Danny Green and just say ISO. But yeah, and this is a big win for the Cavs. This is a big win that the Cavs can do this without Donovan Mitchell having to put up 45 points. Mitchell has 17 points, 13 assists. He only took 11 shots, and that's huge. Because we all know Donovan Mitchell is going to be needed. That's the entire series and for the rest of the playoffs. He's going to have to be like playoff Donovan Mitchell like we know he can be and like you saw in Game 1. So for the Cavs to have a game like this where Donovan doesn't need to be playoff Donovan and he can just chill and Darius and Jared Allen and Evan Mobley can do all the work, then that's huge for Cleveland. But yeah, Evan Mobley as well. Evan Mobley kind of had it coming out. He had 13 and 13. He had that one dunk in the second quarter and that I think kind of woke him up. He's really struggling to start this game. He struggled a lot last game, but I think that really woke him up. He started blocking shots, started being a lot more aggressive, and that's what they really needed. And Jared Allen on the rebounding end was good as well. But yeah, for New York just a tough shooting day. They got into a fight with the Cavs, and the Cavs were beating them up. That's really what it was. Julius Randle shot 8 for 20. Jalen Brunson had a pretty bad shooting game, 5 for 17, 1 for 8 from 3. Quentin Grimes didn't make a field goal. He had all free throws. Mitchell Robinson only had 5 rebounds and 4 blocks though. Josh Hart, you could tell he was trying, but a lot of fouls in this game. The Knicks are fouling a lot. Yeah, Obi Toppin wasn't really doing much on the court. Good thing though, at the end of the game is that RJ and Emmanuel Quigley kind of got into it a little bit. RJ shot just 4 for 13, but a lot of his points came in the fourth quarter. He started to make shots, so hopefully that can bring a little bit of confidence to RJ. But yeah, now it's 1-1, going back to the Garden, and yeah, big game 3 coming up. For the Knicks to be better, they just got to make shots, honestly. And they got to accept that they're probably going to get into a dogfight with the Cavs. I feel like the Cavs were being the aggressors. The intensity was high for Cleveland. They were bringing a lot of energy, and that's how Cleveland likes to play. So New York's got to kind of take that and kind of do the same thing with them. They got to be aggressive. They got to get back in the trenches, win those games. And they also need Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle to be hitting their shots as well, obviously. But also the role players. The role players have been kind of a little bit disappointing. Josh Hart's been good. Isaiah Hartenstein's brought but Quinn Grimes, I don't know if has Quinn Grimes made a three yet in this series. I honestly don't know. Emmanuel quickly hasn't really done much, even though he's probably gonna win Sixth Man of the Year. Obi Toppin has been out there not doing much either. Like those guys kind of have to step up and be a little bit more because the Knicks have so much better depth than the Cavs. The Knicks depth is on another level when it comes to this series, and they have to show that. They need Quentin Grimes and Josh Hart and Emmanuel quickly to be them, to be hitting shots and making plays and playing good defense. But yeah, the Cavs needed this win. Now we go to a 1-1 series, and I'm very excited to see what happens next because this is a tough series. I mean, I hurt watching this series. Everyone was on the ground. Everyone's bleeding. Everyone got hit in the face. Like it was a tough, grinded playoff series. It was fun though. It was really fun. And then the final game we had, Clippers Suns game 2. Clippers got off to a really good start. Russell Westbrook and Kawhi were doing their thing. The Suns were missing a lot of shots early in this game. Even the second quarter, Russell Westbrook was bringing a lot of energy on both ends. He was getting to the rim. He was hitting threes, playing good defense. Clippers were on him. The role players for the Clippers were really stepping up and playing well. And the Suns guys weren't. But then near the end of the second quarter, Devin Booker started to get a go and hit a couple of shots to tie the game at halftime. We go to the third, and Devin Booker and Kevin Durant really take over this game. Those two are hitting shots, playing really well, but Kawhi and Russell Westbrook are keeping up with them. Eric Gordon is hitting shots. Terrence Mann is playing solid. We get to the fourth quarter, and then Chris Paul. Chris Paul takes over the fourth quarter, hitting a lot of easy mid-range shots. Devin Booker is hitting shots. DeAndre Ayton is looking a little bit more aggressive for the Clippers. The role players just kind of stepped down, and weren't really doing that much. And the Suns ultimately end up winning 123-109 to tie the series up at 1 going to LA. The Suns shot 59% from the field in this game because they take a lot of mid-ranges, but they were hitting. Devin Booker was 14 for 22. Chris Paul was 8 for 14. Durant was 10 for 19. Like their big three was really shooting. They also outshot the Clippers from the three-point line, 42% to 37%. They forced 15 Clipper turnovers. They had 30 assists. The Clippers 17 assists. It was just a great game. Devin Booker was really locked in from the near end of the second quarter for the rest of the game. Finished with 38 points and 9 assists. Shot 14 for 22. He was phenomenal. They needed a big Devin Booker game. KD had 25, 6, and 5, even though not a great game for Kevin Durant. He still hit the shots when he needed to. Torrey Craig has been great for the first two games of the series. He hit 5 threes last night. And Chris Paul really showed up, 16, 8 assists. 8 have 14 and 13. But this is what the Suns need, man. They need, I said, for the Suns to win this series, we know what D-Book and Kevin Durant are going to do, but they need the third guy. They need either Chris Paul or DeAndre Ayton to establish themselves as the third guy and be big. And in game 1, those two weren't hitting shots. Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton couldn't hit shots in the fourth quarter, and the Clippers ended up winning. And then this game, Chris Paul decides to take over the fourth quarter, hit some very clutch shots, and they win the game. That's what the Suns need. Also, you saw that the depth of the Suns didn't really play. Like, look at the starting lineup. Devin Booker played 45 minutes. Durant was 44 minutes. Chris Paul was 38 minutes. The most minutes played off the bench was Okogie and Biyombo both played 15 minutes. Because the bench is really out there doing nothing. Jock Lando you didn't see in this game. Terrence Ross didn't get seen in this game. Damian Lee played 3 minutes. CJ Warren played 2 minutes. Landry Shamet played 14 minutes. The Suns' depth just isn't doing anything. And if they're not going to do anything, then, it's going to be big for guys like Torrey Craig and DeAndre Ayton to be effective. And that's why Torrey Craig's out there. Torrey Craig has been amazing in the first 2 games of the series. The Clippers are forcing Torrey Craig and Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton to beat them. And Torrey Craig is beating them right now. Torrey Craig had 22 in game 1, 17 in game 2. He's been great. DeAndre Ayton still needs to be a lot better on the rebounding end. I think he really did that in the second half. And then Chris Paul hitting shots, So then that's what the Suns need to do if their depth isn't doing anything. They need those guys like Craig and Ayton to be stepping up, and they stepped up late last game. For the Clippers, Kawhi was Kawhi, 31, 8, and 7. I mean, he was amazing. Westbrook had a really good game as well, 28, 5, and 5. But the role players kind of took a step down. Eric Gordon, after the third quarter, couldn't really make shots. Norman Powell, very tough shooting day. Zubac only had 6 rebounds. Mason Plumlee only played 14 minutes. Nick Batum hasn't done anything. so far in the first two games on offense. He he played 19 minutes and did make a shot. Yeah, the Clippers just need their role players to be matching the energy of the Suns role players. The Clippers in the first half, the first game, the Clippers role players were running circles around the Suns role players because they weren't doing anything. And now the Clippers role players kind of took a step down, couldn't make shots, and their energy went down. That's when the Suns took their stuff. So that's how the Clippers need to win this series with their role players. We know what Kawhi Leonard is going to do. Kawhi Leonard is a playoff monster. We don't need. It doesn't even need to be said that Kawhi Leonard is going to be Kawhi Leonard, no matter what or who is out there on the court. But they need the Eric Gordons, they need the Zubats, they need the Terrence Manns, the Norman Powells, the Mason Plumlees to be effective. You know, they can't just be out there missing shots and not playing deep. Like, they need to be out there doing something. Last game, it was if they weren't scoring, they were rebounding. Mason Plumlee was in there rebounding. Russell Westbrook had big offensive rebounds. Zubac was rebounding. But if they're not doing that, then they're not going to win this series because it's only so much you can do until Devin Booker and Kevin Durant start hitting shots. And it's like, oh boy, like, what are we going to do? But yeah, still 1-1 series, not going back to LA. Very excited to see the changes made. Ty Lue came out and said we still believe we can win this series, and I believe they have a really good chance if they need the role players, man. They need the role players to step up and contribute. Yeah, for the Suns to win this series, they need Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton to continually step up and be the third guy. Maybe next game is DeAndre Ayton that steps up and puts up a 25 or 22-point game. Maybe it's still Chris Paul. Chris Paul in the fourth quarter, bringing up and hitting big shots. But the Suns need one of those guys to establish themselves as the third guy, especially if the bench is gonna be out there running for 15 minutes and not doing anything. But yeah, that's it for today. Very fun games. We got a few more. We got the rest of the game twos tonight. And then after that, everyone will be traveling and will be moving on to game threes. Very, very excited. Once again, if you do the content, consider subscribing, like, turn on notifications, all stuff like that. Really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.